that one's garbage. We'll do that quad jumper. I don't know the exact quote, but I had to reference the quad jumper.
That one's garbage.
It's garbage. Use that quad jumper. Explosion. The garbage will do.
The garbage will do.
That's a Force Awakens quote.
Force family, welcome back to Star Wars Guys. As always, we're your hosts, Mike.
Hello there.
Nate, and you know him well. Uncle is
Grogu.
Grogu.
In place for Uncle today. He's our guest host.
Uncle's out. Unlike most times when we're out, when one of us is sick or something, Uncle is just
he's on
busy.
Jedi business.
He is. He's on Jedi business.
He's been called by the Force to do something. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's not
called.
He's not one with the Force.
Yeah. But welcome back. Obviously, we got another Andor episode breakdown for you.
Yeah.
Episode 11. This episode was great. We're gonna dive into it. We're trying to stick to making our episodes a little shorter, but we're also want to make sure to cover all the points. So our format, as we've kind of been reiterating the last handful of these episodes, overall thoughts, and then some character deep dives for the plots. Right.
I usually start with the overall thoughts. I think.
Wait, real quick.
Oh,
Before we dive into the overall plot or
Yes.
the overall thoughts and get into the episode, do we want to just go straight to that quote? People are still wondering what the quote was. That reference?
The quad jumper?
It's related to the episode, but if
It is.
you may have missed it. I missed it the first watch through.
I caught it the first
I saw
time
someone
I
else
watched
mention it.
because I immediately, when they said quad jumper, I actually recognized the name before I recognized the visual. So right when they said when Andor and his buddy they've escaped the prison and they meet those two frog-like folk or something, and they're looking to escape. Those guys are great.
We're them frog-like folk.
Always nice to meet like-minded folk.
That's what it was.
Nothing wrong with a little law and order.
From Obi-Wan.
That's Psycho Mole.
I know.
No, but when they referenced quad, they said that the ship was a quad jumper. I immediately thought quad jumper. And I remember Rey and Finn when they're on.
Yeah.
Wait.
Jakku.
Wait. Jakku. I almost said Batu like 10 times because I think just because I just want to go back to Galaxy's Edge. Jakku.
They might be on Batu. We don't know.
They could be. But when they're on Jakku and they eventually get the Millennium Falcon first, that one, and they don't show us, think that one's garbage. We'll go in that quad jumper.
Yeah.
And then the quad jumper blows up.
Yeah. The garbage will do.
The garbage will do. And
But
then
yeah.
they get to it.
Nice
so
little
that's the
quad
reference. I
jumper.
love
Nice touch to Force Awakens.
For a show that is not relying at all, which I love, not relying at all on surprise guest cameos as far as like
connections,
and then like not a ton of this Jedi's alive or this person's in this character. Like it's very much it's a big story, but a kind of a contained story to the time period. It does have a lot of references to other things, which I love. Some obvious, and then some hidden stuff, which I mean, like all the things in Luthen's.
I was gonna say, did we notice the Jedi Temple Guard mask before this episode?
I think every single episode they just throw 10
see
more
something.
items.
I know. I see something new.
Did you see Jango Fett's head sitting in the back?
Just his head's in a glass.
His head's right next to
Simone Morrison's head's just in a glass.
His head's right next to Mace Windu's arm. I love it. No, it's
no.
Yeah, I love all the hidden stuff though. No, it is funny.
It is funny though.
All right, overall thoughts, Nate. What do you think?
Thoughts. Episode 11 of Andor. We briefly said a little bit about this right before we clicked record and go live. But overall thoughts. Love this episode.
Yeah,
love the episode. I am just loving Andor in general. It really is one of. It
so
feels
good.
so different, but it feels so Star Wars. I love it. It's just everything about it's great.
It is. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
No, I was just gonna say. So for this episode, I love this episode. It wasn't a break out of the prison episode intentionally. It wasn't an action episode. It was a dialogue heavy character. Reminding everybody where each of these characters are at and what's gonna move forward into the finale, and potentially onto season 2. So it seemed like they kind of were setting up some of that stuff. But again, the dialogue in this show has me just on the edge of my seat no matter who's talking.
Yeah, I loved this episode. It's a different episode, like we said. There are episodes. This felt a little bit more like how I say I love the first few episodes, where there's not a ton of action in the first few episodes, but great character development, great dialogue. We see the chess pieces on the board moving. We can see a couple of moves ahead of where things are going, especially in the Andor show more than others. We know where some of the pieces end up. And then we have others like Luthen and like Krieger and Clea and all these other people, Vel and Cinta, that we're like, oh, we've come to know these people, but we don't know what happens to them. And there's a lot of that in this episode, and obviously we'll get into the individual points as we go. But I really love the episode, and the whole time I was just like, yep, all right. I could feel early on just by the pace of the episode, which I love. Again, it's a slow burn. But I would love that it's like, okay, we're setting the pieces because next episode's the finale.
Yeah,
you could tell the next episode is the finale.
Yeah, you can. And even I don't even know if I felt like it was a slow burn. Like,
yeah, I didn't think slow,
I don't think
like
it
boring
was
at all. I could just tell by the pace when I looked. I paused at one time because I had to just go to the bathroom, and I looked, and it was like 15 minutes in, and I thought, yep, next episode's when all the stuff's happening.
Yeah.
As far as
action. Yeah.
Now there was action in this too. We'll get to Luthen and his ship.
Sure. But I was gonna say, like, I get what you mean by like the slow, because it's a building episode.
Yeah, I don't mean it negative at all, because I love the pace of the show.
Because the nature of the show and how they jump from character to character, to me it feels, even on a quote unquote slower episode when there's not a lot of action, it's not a prison breakout. Those episodes that are dialogue heavy still, to me, don't feel slow because we're jumping from character to character.
Totally.
It's like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes there. It feels like, okay, here, now I'm picking up on this place, now I'm picking up on this. When you do that rather than just following a single character, like Mando, for instance, for an entire episode, you could look at a particular episode and go, that was a slower episode.
Yeah, and I don't want people to misunderstand, because I do think some people say, oh, it's a slow show, and they use that as a negative. I didn't mean that negative at all.
Right.
I actually just mean the pace of the episode wasn't slow, like, okay, we're waiting.
They're just not on the run.
The moves that were made, similar to some other shows that we love, the moves that were made
a chess game,
were a little bit more quiet moves, which I still liked it. Like, I loved it, actually. There was a lot of, again, the Luthen scene with Saw. We'll get to all that.
Yeah,
I could watch that for an hour. I don't care if neither of them pull. Again, I guess technically he pulls a blaster, but I was gonna say I couldn't care less if neither of them pull a blaster. No one. There doesn't need to be a lightsaber involved or a stormtrooper or anything. Just two guys. Again, it's that whole aren't you tired of fighting with people that agree with you? Like, it's literally these guys that have the same ideas. They have the same or at least similar goals, but they have different ways of getting there. And what's interesting with Saw, and as we start getting into a little bit of the specifics, what's interesting with Saw and Luthen is us as an audience, we're still continuously going like, yeah, but what is the difference between those two? Because
let's do it. Let's just start with them,
because we know Luthen crosses lines. In fact, Saw is like, that's 30 men.
That's what I was going to say.
And he goes, plus Krieger. I love that every time he also adds plus Krieger. Like, so it actually makes it feel like it's actually Saw that is like, but that's extreme.
That's what I was going to say. So I wanted to touch on that because when the show started, initially I was thinking, okay, we know Saw is in this. Is Luthen working with Saw? Is Luthen, like, at the beginning of the show, I kept thinking, like, man, is like, Saw is the extremist. Is Luthen actually working with this guy? And now we work our way throughout the series, and we get to this point, and I'm like, wait a second. Saw is actually learning some of his extreme values from Luthen.
Yeah, so
I really think we're finding out, and we especially see it play out in this episode, is that some of the extreme side of Saw that we get later on, that we like kind of know his character to be, his persona, I think really heavily we're finding out a lot of that influence is coming from Luthen.
Yeah, so that's
Luthen's saying, these guys are expendable. We don't like it, but and then Saw finally agrees and just like, for the greater good. And it's like,
call it what you want. Let's call it.
Whoa. But no, it is interesting though, because as soon as that stuff's happening, I'm like, man, this whole time I'm like, Luthen actually is extreme, and then you realize, wait, even Saw thinks Luthen's extreme.
It's so good, and we don't really know because we don't know anything about Krieger yet. We'll see if we do. We'll see if the 30 men plus Krieger end up biting it, but they make it sound because when they name him just like the others. It kind of sounds like he's also another quote unquote extremist as well. They're like, oh, he does this thing and they do this and they do that. Like he's another figurehead like a Saw or a Luthen.
Yeah.
So I love hearing the different factions.
And what's interesting is this show, and I think this episode especially, how they jump from character to character, is emphasizing the sacrifices that everybody's making to stand up for the rebellion.
Yeah.
And I would argue not all of them are good. Like, I wouldn't say that's a good play.
Yeah.
They believe it's necessary, but they are sacrificing 50 people or whatever.
And it's interesting because he says, like, while I don't necessarily agree with it, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but it is interesting that they're like, but I also understand that he's saying, yeah, I got this information from Lonnie. He couldn't tell him that he got it from Lonnie.
Yeah,
I've got it from a source I spent years getting him undercover.
Yeah.
I got information from him. They're like, well, you got to tell Krieger. If Krieger doesn't attack, then we'll know there's a spy. And our spy's done. They'll kill the spy, and then we also don't have intel that we're going to get from them anymore. He's like, so you're going to sacrifice him? He's like, well, what do you, like... I do understand that.
It's like even having the spy can't even really it helps them, but it doesn't help them.
That's the thing is it seems I know that neither of those seem like good options.
Because it's like at what point is the spy worth having so that you can react on stuff?
Yeah,
like if it were 100 men, 200 men, are you at like okay, that's the limit?
Obviously, has to be a limit.
That's the reason why we have a spy. Is so that now we can get the information and act before these things happen.
Yeah.
So, like, what is the scenario where, and I don't know if we'll find that out, but it is interesting, though, because at least at this point, they think it's worth it to keep them.
They do.
But as they jump from character to character, they're showing how what they've all sacrificed. Like, I mean, with Saw and Luthen, they're showing the sacrifice, and they even mentioned it. What have I sacrificed? The whole dialogue in the last episode was, I've sacrificed everything, my soul, everything. But even further than that, we're seeing Bix is sacrificing, literally she's being tortured, and she's not ratting out on Cassian, at least not that we've seen.
Yep.
Marva now is gone, and we're going to go through each of these characters, but we can see some sacrifices. She stayed, and then she got sick, or whatever happened.
And what did he say? I sold my soul for I know them fighting for a sunset that I won't be alive to see. I'll never be alive to see.
But it's just interesting because we're singing, and then
pour one out for Marva.
Mothma.
You know that I've been singing the Marva praises from day one.
I know.
Pour one out for our girl Marva.
And then Mon Mothma too, though, is like obviously what she's sacrificed or what she's about to sacrifice in wedding her daughter away.
Gosh, yeah.
It's just showing you like this episode seemed like it was trying to emotionally attach you to not that we weren't already attached to the characters, but show you deeper of how much these characters are willing to or have to sacrifice to try and keep the rebellion moving forward.
We said coming in that one of the things we were really interested in, we're intrigued by with the show was we see in Rogue One that the rebellion is not neat. We see that with the introduction of Cassian Andor's character within the first 30 seconds of him being on screen.
You don't know the
is
things
that
I've had to do.
He shoots a guy who you're like, I thought he was on your side, or I thought he was with you. I've been in the fight since I was 6 years old. Like, there's a lot of stuff you're like, oh, I wonder. Like, we've always thought of Han, Leia, Luke. Like, while even Han has like his attitude and stuff, you never question whether or not Han is a bad guy. It was just, is he for the cause or is he not? From
is he a little rebellious?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is he a little on the edge? Is he a little all of that stuff? Over the edge, maybe those types of things. But as far as you never thought that Han was like just taking people out, out around a dumpster, and he's like, oh, you gave me what I needed. Boom, boom. Oh, I can't find out you trailed me. Boom. Like you just didn't get
like
that
even
vibe,
right now,
obviously.
Luthen.
Yeah.
There's times where I look at Luthen and be like, how are you? Like how anybody that's on the outside looking in, it makes sense why the Empire looks at you as a bad guy.
I mean, we go to that again. I don't remember the exact quote, but we talked about it a lot in depth last week, where Luthen is talking about, I use the
tools
I
of my
use the
enemy.
tools of my enemy. Like I'm
against them.
cursed to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them.
And he acknowledges
And
that he's
and
that
at that
way.
point,
But
you go further and further. It's one of those things where if you keep using, those devices to stand up to the oppression or to stand up to this big empire who's obviously terrorizing so many people, but you sacrifice your own morals continuously, and it's just one step over the line, the one step over the line, the one step, and then eventually here, and you finally get to the place.
It's like at
where
what point have you become the enemy?
You finally get to the place you want, and then you turn around and look, and all the people you stood for have not come with you. They're all back there because they haven't done the things you've done, and now what you've done is you've sold yourself out to get to even sometimes. And now this is not black and white obvious. Like I think that's what the show does really well, is how much is too much. Like yes, there are. I mean, in real history, there are atrocities of war where things happen on each side that soldiers come home and things happen that you're like, I've done things that I have PTSD. I have struggles with things that I've done, even in the name of good. And maybe some of those people even don't have regrets about them because they're like, I still think I did the right thing. It doesn't mean it was easy, and it doesn't mean it was something that won't haunt them for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Or it's interesting in the last episode where Luthen actually felt like when he was talking with Lonnie, he was both scary but also felt tormented. Kind of. He felt like he was tormenting him, but also felt like, do you not like he was telling, what if I sacrifice everything? Like it was almost this very real moment of like, do you think I'm proud of what I'm doing? Like,
he's like,
no,
he's
I
not
understand
denying it. He's not denying he's doing terrible things, but he's acknowledging the fact that he himself hates the fact that
he's like, I hate
has
that
to
I have
do
to,
these
but
things.
now this is where it's come to, and I have to do this, and also I'll probably die doing it,
and also you have to do it with me, or else you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So he's
so
like,
good.
also, you're staying with me, Lonnie.
Gosh,
but yeah, that's Luthen. I mean, I could talk about Luthen all day.
Marva.
Yeah, Marva pouring
out from Marva.
Let's talk about Marva's then. So Marva is officially gone. She's officially gone.
She was so good.
She was so good. She was so good.
What a great character.
But let's just combine Marva and Cassian. Let's combine these two at the same time. So Marva, she's gone. Cassian gets the news to end the episode. How is he going to react?
That was rough when he's and then they separate. I mean, he and his buddy.
Yeah, they're
right
like,
we
can't stay
together.
together.
We have to go, and he's like, okay. And he gets off things. He's like, everything's good. Everything's good. And he tells him, first of all, Diego Luna's acting has been great throughout.
Oh my god!
But just the nature of the show and where it's gone too, they've given him kind of a lot more. Not that, again, don't take this negative. It's not negative at all. Intentionally, as he's becoming more and more a leader and stepping up and more vocal. He was a man of a few words sometimes in the earlier episodes, but now he's very vocal.
He was trying to be secretive.
He's front and center, and he's a lot more part of, he's a lot more deciding where he falls in the whole
we have to stand up.
His
and that's why the
acting's been
buddies
so good.
even like, we have to tell them. Like, if we're the, like, could other people have survived? Maybe. But we can't rely on that fact. We may be the only two that survived, and if that's true, we have to be the ones to tell people what's really going on.
I saw a quote. I think it's true. I saw a quote from Tony Gilroy, creator, showrunner of the show, when asked about Kino Loy.
Oh, I saw
that. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It could be tongue-in-cheek. Like, he could be just not being serious and just kind of fueling the speculation. But he said, because people were like, so Kino Loy dying, and he said, did he die? He said, did you see him die? I didn't see him die. And he made it sound like he could come back,
but
which he could.
Did he go as far as, or was it someone else who said, I feel like Kino's the type of guy that could survive something like that?
I think he maybe did. So all that to say,
like he's the one that would fight his way out. Or something.
All that to say, he could be just doing that because he's like, hey, keep the speculation alive. I don't want to. Or it could be. I mean, Tony Gilroy has. Tony Gilroy.
Are we gonna get a spinoff show?
Tony Gilroy has been one to give things away. He has been like, he's like, oh no. I mean, he even said like, we're doing these story arcs where every third episode is gonna be this big banger of an episode. Like he literally was telling all of that stuff.
Yeah. Real quick,
So
we got
he's-
Bets in the chat. Hi guys, are you able to read the chat? Yes, we can read the chat. Welcome.
What's
welcome,
up?
Welcome.
What's
Let
up?
us know your thoughts on Andor.
We're just
on episode
enjoying
11.
talking some Andor here.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's next storyline? Bix? You want to talk Bix at all? That's
Dude, Bix. How out of it is she? I mean,
They went
she's-
back. You went back to that dialogue of the guy talking about that Dr. Gorse.
They
or
did.
Whatever.
They
Talking
did.
about some about these children. Is something.
Yeah,
and
the
it's
screens
like
and stuff.
shows how much it messed with her.
And then, but not even that. I mean, even just taking her from one room to the next, she
But
still
then they
can't
showed
even walk.
her. She also looks like she's like dying.
She's unrecognizable.
She looked really rough.
The makeup crew actually did it. Whatever they did, actually you could tell she was just.
Yeah,
They
she'd
made
been
her
through
look
it.
like she's. Yeah, she's.
They
been
literally
through
had to
some-
carry. They had to hold her up.
hold her up. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's. I'm just glad. I know after the first couple episodes, we're like, wait, Bix is gonna still be in the show, right? Because
I
everyone really
know.
loved Bix. Like,
Is Cassian coming back? He's got to
Does he
come
ever
back.
come back to FERRIX? Hopefully
He's
he's
got to
come back.
come back.
But then initially we were like, well, he can't come back. They'll find him. And they did come back. And then like, well, no one else can come back.
But is he going to come back again?
Yeah, he can't come back again, can he? Yeah, Bix is great.
Bet says, "What are we expecting for the finale?"
Ooh.
I think because we know there's a season 2 coming, I think it's going to be an exciting, eventful one, but I think it will leave us still with some questions as to
it's-
some development for season 2.
I think we're gonna get some.
I think we get
Some-
Cassian coming back to FERRIX. Maybe some stuff goes down with
With Cinta.
with who?
Cinta's been
Oh,
sitting
yes.
there watching Marva
yeah,
and
that
Bix
and I was going to say
and Deidre
and
Miro.
what's his name? Karn.
I was just gonna say
He's
Karn
sneaking
too.
out. And
I
it
do
sounds
feel like
I
Karn
think he's
is,
going to sneak over to FERRIX.
I do feel like Karn is gonna do something.
He's
crazy.
going back to FERRIX, I feel like.
Karn's gonna go
Yeah.
nuts. Karn gives you that. He gives you that
Bet
vibe.
says Luthen reveal. Do you mean like an identity reveal? Like people find
Like maybe
out?
people find out.
Maybe.
I can see it. I could
Speaking
see.
of Luthen, but before we finish, because we already talked a lot about him, let's just finish up his character arc with the ending there. Fighting his way out. We did get a
I
nice little
wish-
space battle.
I wish I had not seen. Had you seen the clip already of that ship? I had seen it online.
No, I didn't see it. That was sick.
Unfortunately, I know. It was
lasers?
something I
Didn't
saw.
see that
I
coming.
saw it like week 1 of the show. They put out a little TV spot, and I saw it on Twitter. It's like, tune in to Andor, and I was like,
That
what
just
the
ruined
heck?
it.
I want. I see. I get
No,
a
I didn't see
I get a
that.
spaceship that literally has lightsabers coming out of its wings,
What
and
the
they
heck?
just showed it in But so I loved it on the show. I wish I had been a little bit more surprised. just 'cause
Ninja
I had
Mike
already
says
seen it.
hi. What's going on, Ninja Mike?
But it's awesome.
Yeah, dude. No, I
It
agree.
was
I
really
think
cool. That whole scene was
I did not see
really
that.
good.
reveal earlier on.
Yeah.
So seeing the lasers come out, I was like, "What the heck? His ship's got lightsabers now." But anyway, I thought it was pretty sweet.
It was really
And
sweet.
I love the fact that it was not even a fight at all.
No.
Like it wasn't challenging at all.
The way he
Which
started going
to
though,
me
the way he
is so
started going and
so
he came
Luthen
back.
right now. It's like he had no hesitancy. As soon as he realized he had to fight to get out,
yeah.
it was boom, boom. He knew exactly what he was doing. Got out easy. It wasn't a struggle or anything.
It was
just
cool
going.
though when he was waiting for it to charge up and he starts and they're like disengage and he starts going
Yeah.
and the tractor beam's still pulling him in.
But I love that they
and then
set
he
it up.
dumps the stuff that destroys the tractor beam.
Destroys
though.
the tractor beam. But I love the fact
Gosh.
that they teased it too by like his thing worked. He's good. And they go, good training exercise or whatever they said.
I know.
And I'm like, oh, that's so Empire.
They are.
deserve
They're
to
like,
get
we could just
blown
let him
up."
go. We could just let him go. Like, let's board anyways. Good training exercise.
Bet says
yeah.
Luthen, 100% former Jedi Order member. Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know either.
I don't know. That would be crazy. Imagine. He does have a
Man.
lot of artifacts. He's got the Jedi Temple Guard in there. I saw that sneak in this episode as an artifact.
Oh, I know. Dude, everything in
The
this.
Jedi Temple Guard mask.
If we go
Which,
by
by the way, was in a spot that we've seen artifacts before, which wasn't in the episode. So
Yeah.
they must have had that placed.
if
for
we
this
go
episode.
by just everything that's in Luthen's
They're gonna if they
artifacts
made a
place,
spin-off show for every artifact.
if we go just by that, he's a temple guard. He is Padme.
He is Starkiller.
He is Starkiller. He is Padme.
He's
got the
a
headdress.
Gungan. He's got a
Either
Gungan
that, or
shield.
could you just imagine? Give me one scene of him walking around town with Padme's headdress on.
He knows.
He's wearing the headdress.
He knows all Twi'leks because he's got Hera. He's got a Hera heirloom.
Yep.
He's got a family heirloom.
I want to see him just walk. Give me one scene where he's got his wig on, his long flowing hair, and he's got his whole thing.
Yeah.
Come around back. Look at this. And then he's got the Padme headdress on. It would be great.
That is hilarious. Bets in the chat says go back to his speech. It's all there. I'll have to go back to it.
It's
I'll have to go back.
We'll see.
We have to go back.
We'll see what they could be. We'll see. I know we made bets on this last episode, in the previous podcast episode, of who's going to survive. Do they survive this season? Do they survive? I think Luthen makes it out of the season.
I think he makes it out of the season.
I don't know if he makes it out of
He
the show.
won't make it out of the show.
I don't think he will.
He's gone. He'll make it to season 2.
I just feel like if he did survive, then again,
I feel like he needs another encounter with Cassian.
Oh, it's going to happen.
There has to be another because
Cassian hasn't gotten
his assistant is trying to get Cassian killed, and I don't think he's in on that.
Well, think of this: Cassian still hasn't reconnected with any of the rebels yet. Cassian's never even met Mon Mothma at this point.
No,
he never met Mon Mothma.
I don't even know if he will.
No, but I mean, he will by the time of Rogue One.
Right. But I mean, in this season, I don't think he will next episode.
Oh no,
either.
no. I think that could be season 2.
Yeah.
In season 2, there's the time period jumps faster, I believe, is what they said for the season 2.
Yeah.
I think this first season is 1 year, is what they said for season 1, and then is that right? Yeah, and then the next season is 4 years.
4 years, I think so.
Every 3 episodes is a year,
yeah.
I think is what they said.
Yeah.
Because this whole thing takes place 5 years before Rogue One. Karn. The more I see of that dude.
Karn, dude.
He is just gonna go. It is interesting because it's like they definitely play on. They tap into these like classic and yet effective, like psychotic tropes of like people who are going psycho, or like people
he's losing it.
But it's not in the obvious. Like he's not sitting there cackling like
no,
the
he's
Joker,
not. He's not.
He's not sitting there like drawing pictures.
He's not
of
having
like Cassian
meltdowns
with his
or
head blown up,
building targets with his.
But he
face
has all
on
these
it.
weird, immature. Like he is both over obsessive with this goal. He already gave off the stalker vibes in the last couple of episodes with the way he was talking with Dedra Miro. But then also there's this weird immaturity about him. Like it's very intentional that his mom, like that he's always eating cereal with his mom, and like he's always eating cereal with his mom, and like she's talking about Uncle Hollow will be so proud, and like Gucci Goo. Like
how about her? Yeah.
He's like 30.
No,
35 at least.
And intentionally they have him.
He's always eating cereal, which again I love cereal as much as the next guy. But
it's intentional for the sake of the show.
He's a child eating with his mom who's constantly, he's like, Mom. I mean, he literally even did this. It was a high school move. He's on the phone. Hey, yeah, Billy, I can go play. Get out of here. He waves her off. He's like, yeah, get out of here. That was just my mom. She's being a real buzzkill. It's exactly.
How about her tweaking with the...
I know she's
cutting off. It's like she's
interesting.
noticing that he's going
listening
he's diving in. She's so obsessed that she starts messing with the connection. It looked like
it's.
I also want to say,
really
Bets. I see your comments of the what is it? The speech. The speech that is interesting. I'll have to go back and rewatch it and dive into that. That is interesting.
I love it. I love the show.
Karn, he's going crazy. I think he'll
show.
show up at FERRIX maybe again because he wants Cassian. He's going to try and show up for the funeral. It's all going down at the funeral, and it's a 2-day thing.
That's what I'm saying. This is all coming down at this funeral.
It's all coming down to the funeral.
So we got Dedra Miro is obviously her people are waiting to see if he shows up. Who knows what's going on, what's going to end up happening long term with Bix. Who knows if Cassian gets wind? I mean, like, Cassian's got to know they're waiting for him on FERRIX, right? Like, you can't just forget. I mean, he ran from FERRIX. Remember the last time he came?
Oh, you mean now that, if people know that his mom
Yeah,
Marva
he's got to
passed,
know.
He's got to
know
know that they're waiting for him to
So
come
he
back
can't
for the
just
funeral.
So if he does come back, he has to do it in a very like he has to know there could be traps. I would think at this point he has to know there could be traps.
That.
So
especially knowing that not only is he on the run, but he also just broke out.
he just committed a mass heist, stole from the Empire. Well, first of all, no, he's in a shootout.
The mass heist. That's
Shootout in
all
FERRIX.
over.
Shootout in FERRIX with people dead.
Massive
on the
heist.
run from what happened in FERRIX. Killed ISB officers on the way out. Then he then he literally does the heist of the galaxy.
Like, yeah, everybody knows. Everybody hears about it.
Stole all these credits, millions of credits, 80 million.
Yeah.
80 million credits. Then goes into this high security prison, leads the breakout.
He doesn't just break out. He leads
the breakout.
Wait a second.
Wait a
second. He's cutting pipes.
He leads the breakout. If he goes back to FERRIX, they got to go, oh, well, thank you very much. We'll step into the cell here, and also we're going to drop you into the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. I can't wait to see what this finale holds. Give me an hour. Although I love that these episodes,
they're not short.
They're not short. This one was a little on the shorter side compared to the others.
This
and it
was
was
maybe
still
40.
like 40 something.
Yeah.
45, which is great. Compared to a Mando or a Book of Boba episode, that ain't short. There's a couple of those that were literally like 29 minutes. I think of actual show. It would be like 33 minutes with credits and like 27 minutes of actual show. These are longer. Even though I love both those shows, but
I used to say I don't mind, but I think I kind of do a little bit.
Oh, I do
Just
mind.
because I want longer
I
episodes.
do mind. As much as I'd love to say...
It could be a fantastic episode, but as soon as I turn it on, I check the time, and I'm like, oh, this is only 20 minutes.
It doesn't mean I will not like an episode because of it, but I do, when I click on an episode sometimes and I see how long it is, I do go, 52 minutes? Oh, boy.
Let's go.
I remember I do it for some Mando episodes, too, and be like, oh, this has got to be the episode when this happens or something big happens. And I click on it and I go, 31.
31.
It's not happening this episode.
Disappointing.
Because I don't think they're going to rush through it. That's happening. I think Boba's showing up next episode. I don't know. I love it. Any other thing character arc wise that we haven't touched on as far as Mon Mothma a little bit? Mon Mothma feels like it's coming to the end as far as
Mon Mothma is
as far as like her shaking and like talking about like
how emotional is she getting?
Her acting's so good too.
So good, but talking to her sister.
I know.
Is it a sister? Cousin?
You talking about Vel?
Sister?
Cousin.
Cousin. Talking to her cousin. Yeah, her cousin. Vel.
Gosh.
Dude, so emotional, but because she's actually they're showing her the emotion around her circumstance of her getting, exposed. But I think in this particular episode, she's talking and looking at her daughter.
I think she's emotional,
and the emotion is because
she's
actually considering. Exactly.
She thinks actually there might be no way out.
That is the way out.
That is the only way to survive.
Marry off my daughter to a gangster.
Yeah, it's
to a thug is what he said, right?
Yeah,
or she said.
What's Davo? Is his name?
Davo.
Skaldrin.
He didn't seem half bad.
Well, he looks. Someone else pointed this out. And it's so accurate. They nail. I don't know how. The actor himself looks like he was plucked from the 70s.
It really does.
His skin looks a certain color, like not even like a race or whatever.
It gives off like but
it's like
mobster.
Yeah, but in the mobster, the hair, the outfit, everything about it, it literally looks like what time period? Like perfectly. Like I literally think, who are you in real life? Who are you in California? Like I'm wondering, like what do you look like? Because
what other roles have you done? Because
you look like this is exactly what you would play, and you look like they filmed your scenes in 1976, and that they put them into this.
Yeah,
because it just fits the time period so well.
Derpy's in the chat. Welcome. Hello there.
Hello
I
there.
heard there's big end credit cliffhanger for episode 12, the finale. Yeah,
really?
That wouldn't surprise me.
Could be. We haven't had any.
Could be.
Cliffhangers?
No. You mean
end credits? He said end credit cliffhanger.
Yeah, I guess. Do you mean end credit like after the episode, like a Marvel thing, or like
Book of Boba Fett 2? They announced Book of Boba Fett 2. Just kidding.
They actually did do that.
Remember they did. Book of Boba Fett was announced at the end of Mando.
What if it? Yeah, true.
And
then Beth says Mon Mothma will sacrifice everything. I think. I mean, I think that
I think
essentially
she
is.
I think she is very sad about the possibility of sacrificing making political moves, playing the game
involving
to the point
her
that
family.
involves her family,
Yeah.
particularly her daughter. If it involved Perrin, I don't think she
I don't
cares
think
much.
she'd care. I don't think she
Perrin's
likes
a little
him.
weasel. I know.
She's he's a weasel. But
but-
her daughter, I think she. But
Yeah.
it's not even that. It's not. It's the fact that she's also like. It's almost. It comes off as like she wants to just shake her daughter and like wake her up. Like she's just like, look at her. Like she's literally just like, she's like, look at her. Like she's
Yeah.
buying into it. This is not only do I not like the fact that she's doing this group. We don't even know what it was.
Whatever it was.
Whatever it was probably some political thing that was like
Whatever
for the
it was.
Empire, and she hated it.
She didn't like
Whatever
the,
it was, though, she's like. But the thing is, she loves it. It's the only thing she likes.
It is.
It's the only thing her daughter likes, and so it's like it
and
seems
she's
to
even
me like
she's like, look,
just like
she's so into it.
it comes off like she just wants to grab her daughter and just shake her and just be like, "Wake up! Do you not see that the Empire's bad?" Like type thing. But it's like a combination of that, but also recognizing like she's probably feeling, how much better am I if I'm about to just make a political move and.
I'm trying to see. I think I had screenshot something about
marriage. I don't know. It's just the complexity of
I
every
had screenshot
character in the
something
show
about
is what's so great, because you go into this knowing these are the quote unquote good guys, and the Empire's the bad guys. There's no question the Empire's the bad guys.
There's no question.
And that they're all evil. That never's been a question. In fact, they're showing how they're just killing people and covering things up, and that's not supposed to be a question. But they do such a good job of showing how each character on the Rebel Alliance, as they begin to form the Alliance and rebel, what they have to go through and what their actually like motives of covering things up, but also trying to be strategic in a way that they can actually keep hope alive, even if that means doing things that they morally would not like or agree with.
I love it, as we're maybe starting to wrap this part of the discussion here, and we'll touch on a couple of other Star Wars related topics rapid fire before we close out today.
Yeah.
And we'll have some extended thoughts on this episode as it ties into the finale next week when Uncle's back as well.
Yeah.
'Cause I know a lot of this stuff we want to get his take as
he'll
well.
want to talk about this episode a little
For
bit.
sure. If you've watched our show before or listened wherever podcasts can be listened, you know that we are not above recapping a previous episode when Uncle or myself or
When
you
someone's
miss
gone.
one. We like talking about it to get
At
everyone's
least
thoughts.
some of the big points.
Exactly. And I know that the finale is going to tie heavily into a lot of the chess moves that were made in this episode. Obviously, are going to tie into the next one. But
yeah.
the just to kind of wrap, I love so much, whether it be this show or there's a number of shows out there right now that I love the politicking, the political scheming, the playing of the game. You have to play the game to do this. You have to make these. I always love, not necessarily that we don't know who's good or who's bad all the time. Sometimes it's pretty obvious. I think that you can listen to Mon Mothma and hear what she's fighting for and go, oh, she's obviously very good. But I love the gray area of what. Yeah, Luthen sometimes, Saw sometimes.
Luthen's going on his speech. I'm like,
I don't want to spoil it.
Guy's
Anyone who's seen Rogue One, we know what happens to Saw.
Yeah.
We know what happens to Saw, and we also know that his own people end up being like, dude, you need to be taken out.
Yeah.
Too much. So like there are lines, even your own side can be like, yo, you've gone too far. But this show is so great because it's not always obvious, and this show lives in that kind of gray area of good people doing things for the good cause or for the side of justice or freedom, but doing it in a questionable manner that I'm like, oh, I don't know how I think that was good. I think that was maybe right. I'm not sure if they had any other choice, but did we exhaust all of our options yet? Like, it always is that.
Did we jump to?
Are there any other options besides selling our daughter off to be married to this guys? But obviously, I mean, I trust Mon Mothma, but it's constantly that. And then on the other side, it's the bad guys constantly doing things. You're like, they kind of have a point as to why they would be upset about this. But then before you can even have a half-second thought of maybe they're good, they go, oh, yes, let's throw them all in prison, let's torture them, and let's fry their brains.
Oh, they didn't do anything? Doesn't matter.
Those are
good practice.
villains. Those are evil.
They didn't actually do anything? They're good? They're okay? Let's do it anyway for practice.
Well, you did nothing? Vacationing in the Bahamas? 6 years.
6 years.
Next.
Polish user.
Take it up with the emperor. No, I love it.
Actually
I love it.
I love it.
Any final thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can't believe it's the finale already.
I know. Well, I love both. I can't believe that it's finale already of the season, but also I love how long it's been because this is the longest we've gotten any show.
Yeah,
any Star
even
Wars
that's
show.
with a 3-episode premiere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I wonder if
it.
they'll.
love it.
The final thoughts. I'm more so just curious as to how the episode will end. Not like obviously I'm excited for the entire episode,
Yeah.
but with it being the finale, knowing there's a season 2, I'm eager to find out how the episode will end. If there's going to be a big cliffhanger, I don't necessarily think there needs to be a big cliffhanger for us to be like, okay, the story is obviously going to like. We can see the story; it needs to continue, but it's not like a, oh, what that happened. You know what I mean? I could see it either way, but I'm excited to see what happens and how they do it.
I am so excited to see.
I just love
finale.
this show. I really don't understand criticisms of this show. I mean, I understand if someone looks at the show and says it's not for me, or like I don't like the genre. I look more into the I enjoy.
Are we segueing into something real quick here?
Well, not even that. It's just
No, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I think so, but
there are some we don't have to call anybody out by name.
Yeah,
But there are some vocal Star Wars talking heads, people who have big channels, like to talk about Star Wars. Sometimes have theories. Sometimes they talk about Star Wars.
Sometimes people call them a little nerdy.
Sometimes their friends can be a little nerdy. But no, I was just gonna say it's very interesting to hear. Not that every show, like you were saying, not that this
you don't
show
have
has
to like
be
every show.
I can tell you right now that I am not, as much as I love this show, I'm obsessed with this show. I am not the one sitting here going, finally, this is what they should have done with Obi-Wan. I go, no, don't touch Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan was so good. I love Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
I do not want Obi-Wan to feel.
Are there moments and things that would have changed or done differently?
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's perfect.
That goes for every show and every movie.
It doesn't mean it was perfect, but Obi-Wan shouldn't have felt like this. Obi-Wan was a different thing.
Yeah.
Book of Boba Fett.
And if you love Obi-Wan or you love Mando or you love Boba Fett, then that's fine. And you don't like this, then that's okay.
Star
that just
Wars
means this maybe
feel,
isn't your genre.
Feel different. I mean, seriously, if anybody has not watched the original trilogy in a while, go watch Empire Strikes Back and then watch Return of the Jedi. And even within the same movie, within Return of the Jedi, but even just the contrast between those two movies, very different style of humor. The comedy is different, and again, different directors. George is overseeing the whole thing.
Yeah.
But Han Solo himself, Harrison Ford, is very different in Empire Strikes Back than he is in Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi, in Empire Strikes Back, he's Mr. Cool. A lot of this stuff, he's still pretty cool in Return of the Jedi. But he's there's this whole bit where he's, hey, 3PO, and he taps him on the shoulder. Oh, sorry. Hey, taps him. Oh, and also tell this. Hurry it up, would you?
Yeah.
Like, okay, that was a children's. That was a joke for children.
That's fine.
Which is fine. But to say that doesn't feel different than the one before, the movies are supposed to. I'm saying there's a positive.
They're supposed to be different.
They're supposed to be different. These shows are supposed to be different. Every single one of them shouldn't feel like Mando and
you can like one and
Mando
dislike
and
another
Boba
one.
Fett probably feel the most similar, except for Boba Fett. I think it's wackier moments get a little wackier, but it's shot the same way. It's the same creative people behind it, so you can tell.
Yep.
I love how different this show is. It doesn't mean I don't want the other shows. I love the other shows, but I'm loving what we're getting with Andor.
Yeah.
Love it.
All I was gonna say is I don't understand. Like, someone can say, I don't understand the criticisms of the show being bad. That's different than saying
That's what
you
I'm saying.
personally don't like it or it's
There's
not
some
for
people
you.
who say it's bad.
But I don't understand
don't get
people
that
saying
at
that it's
all.
trash or it's garbage or something. Like this is not a bad show. This is a great show. If it's a show you don't like, then that's fine. You don't have to like it yourself. But
We don't need
bad
to-
is so like
Listen,
saying a show is good or bad is that's an individual thing. That's an opinion.
the
Especially
again,
when so many
we're not
other
here to
people like it.
we're not here to bash people's opinions, and we really won't say it by name. But the same video, I know you saw it too. Within the same video, that it was parts of these clips are going around on Twitter and on the internet this week. But within the same video, a couple of individuals were bashing the show for a long time, saying just like I don't. And like some people, one of the dudes was like, people actually say they love us, and he's like, I don't bleeping get it. Who loves this? It's so boring. It's so. And I'm like, okay, even if you're saying you're boring, you don't get that other people like the show. Or and he's like, it's so. And then go
That's
on.
the thing. You can say you don't like the show without bashing the entire audience that loves the show.
They're like, get out of here. And this was them talking. Get out of here. You really liked it, like
trying to make people feel
yeah.
bad
In
for
fact,
liking the show.
in fact, you are in the vast. Not that you need to agree with everyone. You are not 50% of the audience. You are in such the small minority, and yet you don't understand that 99% of the people that have been talking about the show online really like it.
Yeah. Bet
varying
says
degrees.
Andor is so good. Check out Hulu and ABC soon. That's true.
I
It's
know,
gonna be
true.
airing.
It is, but that video of a couple of individuals talking about it, the video then continues where they go, what they should have done, taken this grittiness and made something really cool like a General Grievous show. And
Like, what's he doing at work?
like, listen,
they didn't say that.
I like General Grievous. Your idea of they shouldn't
The
have
next
done
big Star
they
Wars
shouldn't
show?
have done the rebellion. They shouldn't have done the rebellion versus the Empire spy thing. They should have done something serious. Just do a General Grievous show. I like
Just
Grievous.
coughing left and right.
Grievous is the most serious thing you could think of. Like I just don't. I think that's a terrible example. Not
Yeah.
saying Grievous couldn't have been done,
And maybe
well,
it wasn't well thought out.
but yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's it. But let's move on.
Just imagine
Let's
a
move on,
Grievous
Rook.
show where they're all, he's just coughing 24/7.
Is Anakin Skywalker?
We should just take
Someone
all of the
old.
different people.
It's really
that-
just Saul.
It's all the
Call it-
people. Let's take all the characters with
Whoa.
terrible voice. Not terrible as in like bad voices, but like graspy. Like take Vader who can't breathe.
say
and
graspy or raspy?
And Grievous. Either
Graspy makes it sound like you're grasping at their voice. Raspy?
one. Either one.
Gravelly. You're thinking gravelly and
Gravelly.
raspy. I like it. Graspy.
It's a new one. It's
I
a
like
great
graspy. It's a great graspy.
graspy.
It's a great graspy. Couple of other Star Wars related topics, real quick, rapid fire as we wrap it up.
All right. What we got?
We've got.
Andor.
What were we gonna say? We just talked about
Just-
Andor.
That's what. That's
Ryan
it.
Johnson.
Who's that?
Did you saw this? Because I saw you liked it. Ryan Johnson
Liked it. I loved it.
Ryan Johnson was on a red carpet event
Yeah.
thing for Glass Onion, the new Knives Out mystery that I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see. And in the video, he talks about, he was asked, so the guy who was interviewing was like, hey, a couple years ago, we were
Of
talking
course, let's
about
talk
you
Star
doing
Wars.
Star Wars and you're excited about it.
How do you feel?
So
after,
do you have, he said something like, so do you have the Star Wars? Let's talk Star Wars. You have the script ready? And Ryan's like, starts joking. He's like, oh, it's right here, script. And I mean this with love because I love Ryan. But Ryan was joking because he's like, obviously I don't have a script written. I'm not working on that right now. But he didn't say that. He said, oh, yeah. He said, no. Listen, he said, I've said it before, but I really mean making Star Wars,
was the highlight
was
of
the
his
highlight of my career. He said, making Star Wars was the high point of my life. I pray to God that I will be back there someday. And he was talking. He's like, I can't wait. And he said, but right now, the next thing that I would most likely be writing is the third one of these, Knives Out. And he was talking about Knives Out. And then the guy
he's focusing
goes,
on Knives Out.
and then the interviewer goes, oh, so this could be like years. He said, oh, I mean, potentially it could be years down the line. But he's like, but we got years. I mean,
I'm young.
I'm a young
We're
guy.
young.
You're a young guy. We can
got
do it.
years.
And then the guy follows it up by saying, hey, you're right. I mean, like time happens fast. It was just a few years ago I was interviewing you for Looper, and when you did Looper back, before Breaking Bad and all this
Great
other
movie,
stuff.
by the
So,
way.
all that to say, the Ryan Johnson trilogy is not shut down. I really do think
I don't
Ryan
care what
wants
people
to
say
do
about
it.
The Last Jedi. Ryan Johnson having his
I just
own
love
trilogy, creating his own
I want it
story
to happen so
would
badly.
be incredible. He's such a good director. It
Yeah,
would be
it's,
insane. I've been saying it. I think it was when I was on Darth Chaco's podcast. One of the questions he wrapped up with and asking was, if you were to create a Star Wars movie that had to be in a different genre, what would it be? And I said, give me and it's funny because this is a spy thriller, which is kind of what I was leaning into. But I said a mystery thriller, like a mystery thriller Star Wars. This is again having to pick a different
Sounds like
genre we
that's what-
haven't seen. I
Sounds
said,
like that's what Acolyte's going to be.
It is.
Because they said a mystery, something like
Mystery,
that. Like Jedi and Padawan solving a mystery
Sinister.
about the
They
Sith.
said like sinister mystery. So I said mystery.
I also think that that's
mystery
what
thriller
that's what Skeleton
Ryan-
Crew.
with Ryan Johnson.
Skeleton Crew
Yeah.
sounds a little mystery as well.
Yeah.
A little Stranger Things-esque, they were saying.
Give me a Knives Out, but Star Wars.
Seriously. Give me a Star Wars whodunit. Was it Darth Plagueis? Was it Darth Canibus?
Diaz.
Was it Cypher Diaz? Was it Tyrannus? Was it Emperor Palpatine?
Bet said it might be
Oh.
good. He already killed them all. I liked Looper. Yeah.
Yeah. Looper,
Knives
Brick,
Out, so
Breaking
great.
Bad, Knives Out. Again,
The resume is incredible.
he's awesome.
What else? Other topics you had?
Turns out that was it.
Okay.
At least
See you guys.
I may have misplaced the other because I thought I had screenshot something else Star Wars related, but I just see Star Wars stuff all the time.
Yesterday was the 3-year anniversary of Jedi Fallen Order video game.
Oh yes,
3 years ago, Jedi Fallen Order, fantastic game, and the new one, Jedi Survivor, comes out early next year. Can't wait for it.
I know what it was. I had screenshot something earlier, just some dialogue stuff about the Andor episode, but now that's not relevant to what we're talking about as we're
That's
wrapping
true.
up. It was just ISB knows Krieger's plan. They'll be waiting for him. And how do we know this? I won't tell you that. And Krieger, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. There's no. How do you know I won't tell him? I don't. I don't know what you'll do. You have spies. It's far from ideal for either of us. And I don't know who you are.
Cassian Andor.
But now I've gone into Liam Neeson.
Star Wars voices.
I know. I love it. Love it.
Is that it?
That's it. That's all I got.
Well, as always, thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate it. Let us know your thoughts. If you're listening to this back, if you're live right now, as soon as we end, drop some comments. Drop a comment in the video. Don't forget to like the video if you haven't liked the video already. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and turn on your notification bell so you guys know whenever we post videos, whether they're reactions, shorts, whatever, and when we go live. So yeah, make sure to get those notification bells smashed and turned on.
Smash
That notification bell.
Oh, well.
But thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. What we got here? Last Jedi was a good movie.
Yeah.
Loved it. I
We
loved
love
it.
The
It's one of my
Last Jedi,
favorite.
man.
When
Love
is
it.
Knights of the Old Republic for PS5 coming out? Here's the thing. It might not be,
Yeah.
unfortunately, which is very unfortunate because that was the most
Tell you, the video game stuff, I don't know.
for me personally, that was the most anticipated game that I was looking forward to in terms of the new Star Wars movie or Star Wars games. I was looking forward to that one the most because Knights of the Republic, I think, is arguably one of, if not the greatest games of all time.
It's awesome. Legendary.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's been some stuff going on that I don't know if it's not
Video game
looking
stuff's
good.
a little up in the air.
It's not looking good for
Yeah.
Knights of the Old Republic. I'm not sure if it's going to be made, if that remake is going to end up happening or not.
Yeah.
But we are for sure getting Jedi Survivor.
That is true.
And the first one
happening.
killed, so I'm
First
feeling
one
good
killed
about
it. It's it seems
good
like
about
they
that.
know the fan base loved it, so
that.
digging
Bet
in,
says
making a
that's
second one.
why I bought a PS5. Well,
Not to crush your dreams. We don't know. Stuff like this changes
true.
a lot.
it changes all the time.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, there are. If it makes you feel better, there are other Star Wars games. You can look them up online. There's a list of announced or at least rumored Star Wars games. There's an open world Star Wars
I
game that I
know.
think I don't think it's Bethesda. It might be Bethesda. No, one of the big open world companies. Maybe it was the creators who do like the Assassin's Creed games are supposed to be making an open world Star Wars game, which I'm looking forward to that as well. Really, any Star Wars game, but
Yeah, any Star Wars game.
but
we're
yeah.
down.
So
we're
if you like video games and you're looking forward to Star Wars stuff, look up a list. Again, we don't really know. It's hit or miss sometimes. And unfortunately, that's how it is in all of entertainment right now. Even with movies being announced and shows, they like to announce it, but they have to announce things in advance to kind of give people, because people want to ask what's coming. They want to know. So they have to announce things sometimes before they're fully set in stone, and then when budgets and things don't come out, or especially with video games.
Video games take a long time.
They do. They take a long time,
to make.
And contracts and deals with developers fall through a lot.
Yep.
Too. With and even ownership rights.
If you guys ever see a headline about so and so, Game of Thrones is making this game, Star Wars is making this game, look at the dates, because it's always like, this game should come out by 2026. Like, games take a long time.
They take a long time.
It's never like, surprise Star Wars game coming out next month. No, it's never that.
It's not Grogu. It's not Grogu Dust Bunnies, and it's coming out tomorrow.
It's not Grogu Dust Bunnies. It's not 3 minutes long.
Literally, it was Grogu Dust Bunnies dropping tomorrow. Oh, okay, sweet,
great.
Yeah,
Grogu
video games aren't like that, but we know that.
I love it.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. If you aren't already, follow us on Instagram. That's at Star Wars Guys Pod. But most of our stuff now that we have integrated fully on YouTube and our podcast stuff, we post a lot of updates even in the community messages and me, interacting.
You've been good about
and
that
stuff in here. Yeah,
I have not been good about that.
No. The worst. Someone said, no, I'm just kidding.
That is not the comment we are looking for. Move along.
But yes, so make sure to get those notification bells turned on. Like the video. If you haven't already, we appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you all in the next one. Have a good one. And as always, may the Force be with you.
Kanan, we got to watch Andor. Ezra, I'm already watching it. Kanan, maybe I'll find my parents. Nah, I don't know. I just turned into Adam Sandler there at the end. We like you.